We're live. Awesome. That's the best start for any of the podcasts, I think. I pride myself on having a shit opening to these podcasts. This is one of the shitter. Anyway, welcome to episode 12 of Knuggets with Charlie and Charlie. That was a bit more. I like that. As per usual, we've been super organised for this episode. So we've got loads of stuff to talk about, and it's all stuff we're going to make up on the fly. Basically didn't put a question sticker out, so didn't ask anyone for questions. I had a few questions and I've forgotten them. So if you asked me a question 6 weeks ago that I didn't answer yet, ask me again, because I'm crap and I forgot it. But I figured we just kind of do what we did the other week when we started off about who are we, and we got so far as for qualifications and then went off. And that was kind of it. We never finished talking about who we are. But that seemed to be one of the sort of better received podcasts, which is wicked. So I figured we'd just kind of go off on a little tangent straight from the back, and just start chatting about stuff. We sort of had a bunch of stuff from that podcast about things that wound us up in the industry and things that are just plain fucking false that people still like to cling to, and little myths and traditions and dogma that people like. So I reckon we could probably just start on the back of those. Where should we start? I mean, there's loads. We just off camera, we were talking about the term functional fitness.
Should we start there?
We could delve straight into that.
Yeah, go on.
It's one of those. This is I had this chat with the episode I cheated on you when James came on, and we brought the angry goat. Not that I like to bring this up a lot. We brought the angry goat. You know when people say, "What gets my goat?" That. So there's little goat. Yeah. That's the angry goat. So he is turning up in this. So functional fitness or functional strength or functional whatever you want to call it, ain't the thing, is it? So like the term annoys me because I don't think it is. Full stop. That's the end of that sentence. Because like, I think CrossFit took the term functional fitness and then told everyone that CrossFit is functional. But then, like you said, I've never taken my shopping bags from Tesco to the back of the truck in a snatch. Or like, you know, if I need to get somewhere high, I'll probably like clamber. I'm probably not going to like jump over it. So like functional fitness just isn't a thing. Functional is whatever you want to make it to be. So if you're a CrossFitter, CrossFit is great functional fitness. If you're a strongman, probably not. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of my view on it. I don't really understand the term. It just sort of is. And then you said obviously bicep curls are probably the most functional thing you can do. Which is true.
I hate the term because most things are functional.
Yeah.
But like, I think, and also as well as the CrossFit thing, you get functional, which is like some personal trainers and coaches see as, I now need to mimic the demands of this sport or activity with all of my training. So you'll get people like throwing punches with like dumbbells and stuff because that's what boxing is. And so to overload it, we need to punch with heavier dumbbells and stuff like that, like real stupid things.
Yeah, because I mean, famously, when you throw a punch, gravity gets really heavy towards the end. So loading a fist makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, unless you've put 8 kilos on your hands.
Yeah.
Like in weight gain.
I mean, the heavyweight gloves are, you know, they're fucking pillows basically, but they're not that heavy.
Yeah. No. So yeah, generally, I mean, like if we went back to what functional is, it's basically sort of what fitness is. So fitness is meeting the demands of whatever activity you're doing, which we've spoke about on an episode before, I think.
Yeah.
And so like functional training is to get fitter, which is to get better at whatever it is that you need to do. So like for an old person, like a squat or a half squat, probably a half squat to be fair, maybe even a quarter squat is functional fitness because that's getting them out of a chair or not, which is actually like when you look at the health research, that's a key determinant of health. That's one of the ways that they measure like health in the elderly. Because if you get off a chair, you generally can walk then, you're strong enough to walk. You're strong enough, that means to go and feed yourself, to put the heating on, like to go and do all normal things. But you can't get out of a chair, that's when you are bollocks as an old person because you are literally there like a beetle on its back. You like can't turn over, you're fucked because you can't get up. And what are you going to do? Unless you have everything by you at your chair, which is the dream.
Lazy boys, they're the one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Arm and everything's amazing.
Yeah. That's what functional is for that person. But like you said, if like functional is like rugby World Cup final, then just doing a quarter squat with your body weight, you're probably going to get written off fairly early on by some huge fucking second row.
Yeah.
Who's literally been licking his lips at the thought of chopping you in half.
Yeah, pretty much. Whilst doing split squats at double body weight in the gym.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, to warm up. Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a bullshit term. It's not a thing. It's not a thing, and it winds me up. And I'm gonna have people come at me on this, and that's fine. Come at me. I'll gladly listen to your opinion on it, but my opinion is that it's bullshit. And it completely depends on the individual. I mean, you went down a route of sort of general living and life, as in old people getting out of their chair and up the stairs and into bed and off the toilet and stuff like that. Maybe that's how Elvis went. He couldn't get off the toilet. Didn't do his squat.
Maybe. Yeah.
Didn't do his squats. Ah, Elvis. Rest in peace. But like maybe that's a thing. Like, fine. But I don't think that's called functional fitness. I think that's just called fucking life, living. Yeah. And if you want to brand that as function, do that, I guess. But then people take it into the gym, and because you swing, you'll sort of sit up in the functional area of a gym where there's kettlebells and vipers and ropes and sleds and rigs and that sort of stuff. It's great. Yeah. But like, again, look at a kettlebell swing. A kettlebell swing is hailed as one of the most functional movements you can do. And I don't understand why. I don't get it. I mean, at its core, obviously, you're squeezing your bum to get the kettlebell moving and swinging it, and that's great. And there's probably an area of coordination in it. It's probably pretty hard. If the kettlebell's heavy enough, it definitely gets you sweaty, and it sort of, it puts your heart rate up and that sort of stuff. I don't know if it's functional, unless you're a kettlebell swinger. It's definitely a thing.
Like keys and sort of swinger.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Kettlebells.
Yeah.
I don't want to go any further into that because I don't want to know what you do with the kettlebell. No, I agree with your point. That doesn't mean like any movement that people say, "Oh, this is functional." It doesn't mean it's a bad movement.
No.
Like kettlebell swings have their place for a lot of people if they want to do them.
Dude, I love a kettlebell swing.
Yeah, and you can manipulate like intensity and all those sorts of things to get lots of different outcomes from a kettlebell swing.
Yeah. So I used kettlebells with a client this morning, funnily enough. So I had them doing kettlebell swings. So they're just learning Olympic lifting, and they really struggle with the triple extension. A kettlebell swing is a really good way of sort of drilling that movement in, because you have to get to a decent amount of extension to swing the kettlebell, or you start using your arms. So I kind of cue them as use your arms like chains and just swing the kettlebell away from you. But to do that, you need to throw your hips into it. And it's a good entry point for that movement, I think. And plus, it was fucking cold, so it worked really well to warm them up, because it was like minus 28 in Hollyport.
Roughly.
There or thereabouts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was chilly.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with minus 28. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
Might be Fahrenheit. Definitely not Fahrenheit. Fuck me, that'd be cold. But yeah. Moving on. But yeah, so definitely, like you said, they have their place, and like I like them, but they ain't functional. It's not a thing.
I mean, any functional movement, you just put a Bosu ball underneath it.
Goat. Fucking Bosu balls. Like, I have a Bosu ball in the gym, right? And it's someone bought it in there. And it's just there. It just stays there gathering dust. I don't know who bought it in, or when they bought it in, or why they bought it in. I think it's just there to taunt me. But because it ain't mine, I feel bad about lobbing it. But at the same token, it's in the gym. But I've just got a Bosu ball in the gym. I don't know why it's there. I hate them. I see no point in a Bosu ball.
I've seen them used by physios at various stages of rehab.
Yeah.
Again, everything's got a use, and like trying to. I'm certainly no physio trainer of any sort, but like to do with like ankle stability and stuff, I think there was a place for them for these individuals at this stage of rehab. But people who are fit and well doing anything on them are morons, I think.
I mean, yes, no. Yes to the second point, no to the first point. I don't know that they even have a place for like ankle stability, because unless you're training somebody that's better at walking on bouncy castles or doing like it's a knockout courses, like you could just train ankle stability by moving, walking, maybe a wobble board, stairs, uneven surfaces, balance, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but isn't it just another uneven surface?
Yes and no. It's a bouncy surface. I mean, on its bottom, maybe you could probably argue that if like the hard side was up and you let.
Oh yeah, that was how they were using it. Yeah.
But like you'd have to let quite a lot of air out of it, I think, for it to have any sort of real impact. Otherwise, it's just a big wobble board, and I don't really understand the point in that. I've had somebody with a busted ankle before, and from the research I read through it, because that's one of the, this is the geek in me is going to come roaring to the surface. This dude had essentially the back of his foot pinned together. He had it busted in I think it was a kayaking thing he did, but I can't remember. He injured it. Had it all screwed together, and now his ankle didn't work properly. So essentially, the bottom of his, the sort of back of his foot, the heel, and the bones around it were effectively fused. And getting him back walking again, from the research and sort of literature that I read, like Bosu's never came up. Like, it never came up in the rehab literature or anything like that. What did come up was basically learning to walk again, learning on gait. So you'd start on a flat surface, which is easy skill. And then you add in things like stairs and curbs and side steps off different levels and things. But you rarely ever come up against something in an environment that's the same as a Bosu ball or moves the same as a Bosu ball. Like, if you cast your mind out to somewhere within the last 3 years, shy of a bouncy castle, or the last time you were on a Bosu ball in the gym, when did you last come across something that wobbled underfoot like a Bosu ball?
Yeah, that's true. But then I don't think every exercise you do has to mimic what you do in day-to-day life for it to be effective.
No, for sure. Absolutely. But I think if we're going down the rehab route, this is probably stemming into some bias of the fact that I fucking hate Bosu balls so much. And I'm finding every point against them possible.
Yeah.
I just don't understand them. But like, if you're talking about ankle rehab, I don't think Bosu ball is the best way to go.
It might not have been ankle. I'm just watching physios who I know and trust who work at quite a good level.
Yeah,
and they've used them, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough. I don't know what they were using for. I can't even remember. Yeah. But again, it's one of those where it's rarely an absolute. You could probably find a use for them. Doesn't mean it's the best use. Doesn't mean that you'd use them with everyone or many people. But most things have some sort of use, but it doesn't make it functional, I don't think.
I think a good use for them is they make a really satisfying pop when they burst. That's a good use. Yeah, man, like really satisfying. It's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Like, rehab is one of those topics that I get a little bit funky on. Because so weirdly, here's a bit about me that we were going to talk about in the About Us section. I started off in this industry as rehab. So it was, I broke my knee when I was 17, 18 maybe, playing rugby. And then by that point, I was kind of half in. Like, I was still an apprentice at that point. I was still a carpenter, of all things. I was sort of half into the industry. I was training a lot on doing that sort of stuff. And my rehab fascinated me because I couldn't understand why, through physio, I spent 8 weeks after my surgery, when I was allowed to walk with a crutch, but they did all my physio lying down on a bench. So my sort of questions were, well, why am I laying down for this? And they said, oh, you're not strong enough to stand up on it yet. I was like, yeah, but you got me walking with crutch. So like, I'm clearly strong enough to walk in it. So why are we doing all my rehab laying down? And they couldn't answer me. So I started like digging in and doing amateur research around that. Basically Google and like Dr. Google. But there seems to be a kind of checklist of like a physio checklist for injured knee. You get the knee checklist out and you run through all these bits. And there didn't seem to be any sort of rhyme for it. So I think a lot of it is down to just sort of dogma and tradition. It's like, well, this is how we've always treated broken knees. So this is how we're going to treat your broken knee. When I was a sort of relatively fit, strong 17, 18-year-old lad that just wanted to get back playing rugby again. So that's kind of what started me into the industry, was asking questions around my own knee rehab. And then moving on from that, did an awful lot of looking into rehab and movement and analysis and that sort of stuff, which led me to Faster, the education guys that I spoke about last time, put onto their courses, and then it sort of taught me critical thinking, which was what I was doing already without really thinking about it. Ended up doing a course with them. It was their sort of functional therapy diploma. Did that, which went on and carried on from that. So like therapy and rehab, and by no stretch, I should caveat this now, by no stretch am I a physio. So if you're currently under physio and they've prescribed you stuff with a Bosu ball, just crack on, but maybe dig into why they're doing stuff on your Bosu ball. Like, go with your physio's advice. They're medical, I'm not. This is just from my own challenging and researching and stuff. I believe rehab should look as close to actual life as possible, the movement you're trying to get back as possible. So in my case, it was walking and running and sidestepping and twisting and that sort of stuff, getting back into rugby. I wouldn't have necessarily thought that a physio would get me bounding off a Bosu ball to do that. It would probably be more like flat surfaces or in a field in cleats and that sort of stuff. So you try and mimic the environment that you go back to. But again, you talk to 15 different trainers, coaches, physios, and you'll get 15 different answers. So my opinion is that I think you should be as close to your environment as possible. Other physios and stuff might say, actually, no, take it completely away from that and put it under as much stress as possible. So when you're actually back in your environment again, you feel good. Maybe. I don't know. I can't speak for other physios, but that's my thing on it.
I think you have to get back to the environment eventually. Excuse me. But it's just how and when you get there. Like if you've got someone who's done their ACL and they've had an operation, they're not going to be back walking and running day after surgery. But that doesn't mean they can't do anything. But what they can do might be completely detached from where they want to be.
Yeah.
But it has to lead them to the point where they are doing something that's going to get them back. So they'll be running quite early on, and then they're back to straight line running, then change direction, then all that sort of thing, which again is not my area, but from my observation, that's generally how it works.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. So it's I call it kind of start move and goal move. So for me, the start move, and this is again, I'm using my own thing as an example, but for me, the start move was knee brace wedged to, I forget the things now, it was like 95 degrees to full extension sort of it. It was limited back, walking on crutches, initially non-weight bearing through that, from my left knee or my left leg. And then the goal move was back on a rugby pitch playing rugby and smashing people, because I was that grumpy second row, like waiting for the untrained fat lad. But that was the kind of starting point of the goal move. And then the goal move stays the same, but your starting point changes every time you kind of check in with a thing. So for me, it went from non-weight bearing to weight bearing to more flexion allowed in the knee brace to no knee brace to then walking in straight lines and stairs to turning corners and sidestepping. And then it became doing all those movements faster and then doing all those movements faster subconsciously and then back onto the pitch. So you build these little bridges to get you through each point. And that's where you kind of go with it. That's a process that I'll follow with myself and with my clients. And it's one that, fortunately, I had a pretty good physio when I busted my knee. And I asked questions and she answered them. And sort of showed me where to get research and that sort of thing, or sort of showed me why she was doing and that sort of thing. She was really cool. She was like that good teacher in school, the one that inspired you to do shit. So she probably in an underlying way, she's probably the reason I got into this job. There you go. Shout out Claire from Princess Margaret Hospital. There you go. All them many moons ago. But yeah, so I think we've gone on from kind of functional fitness round to rehab, and I think we're going back to functional again. So functional depends entirely on what you're doing. Like not everybody's injured, but for me, functional at the time was walking and trying to walk in angles and step and that sort of stuff. Whereas now I don't play rugby anymore because I'm battered. So now I choose to lift shit up because I'm an idiot, and that's what strength things are. But for me now, functional strength is being able to lift up atlas stones and yokes and farmer's carries and deadlifts and that sort of stuff. Are they functional for it? Probably not. Farmer's handles maybe if I've got a really heavy shopping trip. But like, that's kind of it. I don't know. Like I said, that kind of petered into a little bit of a rant and a little bit of nostalgia at the same time. It's good. But yeah, so in short, functional training, it's not a thing unless you want to make it a thing. And then the thing is based on whatever it is you're trying to do. So like people caveat it by saying move better. I'm not sure that makes any fucking sense either, if I'm honest with you, but sure, you crack on.
Fair enough.
Nah. So yeah, man. So that was, like 15 minutes of like just me ranting about a hatred of a term. Thing is, it's a universally accepted term, and I just need to get over myself, is what that boils down to. It's like accessory work. I don't like the word accessories because to me, accessories is what you buy from Monsoon. But like, I don't know. It's not. It's just a universally accepted term.
It's semantics, isn't it? And
pretty much, yeah.
I suppose there is a point where, and I've probably found this as a practitioner over the years, where you just fight fights that matter, and you give up trying to fight battles that don't. Like the word tone, for example, means sweet fuck all.
Yep. And
like words like bulk and things like that are awful, but is it worth my time correcting people every time they use them? Probably not.
Nah.
Like, I don't give two fucks what you describe. I know what you mean by you saying it, and that'll do. Whereas before, I would have been rabid about it.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean anything. And then all you end up doing is getting the person like going, oh, well, you're a twat then, and just not talking to you about what they wanted to talk to you about. So while I disagree with a lot of the use of the words and what people use them for and what they mean, I now don't fight back because I haven't got the energy. At my age, mate, when you get to my age, you'll understand, but I don't have the energy anymore.
Sure. I think I'm long past your age.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think you just look old for it. I think you're still tough. You're only 23.
Yeah. I mean, stone, yes.
IQ, maybe.
Maybe. I did mention strength athlete, so IQ is probably somewhere around the sort of like maybe like high teens.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because I do it voluntarily. I'm not sure why.
No.
More the point, I do it voluntarily with a busted back. So like that's a thing I don't really understand. But yeah, I mean, when you get to the ripe old age of, fuck me, it dawned on me the other day, I'm 33 in less than a month. I'm not sure how I feel about that because it feels like a big like. It's like it's three, like it's double. I don't know. I felt the same when I hit 22. I didn't like it for some reason. But then my next one's 44, and that's a bit crap.
Yeah.
Shout out to any of our 44-year-old listeners. But yeah, I'm 33 with the body of a 72-year-old.
At least, yeah.
Done well. I've done well. But yeah, so let's sticking on words and such. I feel like we can elaborate on that a little bit because there's people that listen to this that go, I want a tone and I want a bulk and I want a that. So like, let's delve into those a little bit because I completely agree with you. Like the word tone is meaningless. I think the word tone just means you want to see definition. But then most of the conversations I have with clients that say, I just want to tone up a little bit. My kind of question is, well, do you, or like, do you understand what that means? And then you sort of say, so we'll build a little bit of muscle, we'll lose a little bit of fat, and go, oh, I don't want to get big. And you go, cool. So you have that conversation. So like, you brought it up. So where's your opinions on the word tone and bulk and cut and that sort of thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I think because they're like sort of old, either old bodybuilding phrases or like old female equivalent of bodybuilding when females weren't doing bodybuilding but were interested in fitness. I think their words are still hanging around from then, and people actually, when you explain what they mean, maybe either don't want them or were planning on doing it wrong based on what they thought those words meant. So like tone, for example, you've just said, it basically means to get leaner, but also try and gain, at least maintain muscle mass, if not gain.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, I don't want to lift weights, I just want to tone up. You won't do that because you're actually not achieving what tone means, because if you don't have a weight training stimulus, you're not going to gain muscle mass, so you won't actually tone, which is what you want.
Just end up getting fat.
Yeah, I don't want to get massive. Like, do you understand that boys? So men have an easier time of putting muscle mass on than women physiologically, and men enhance their chances by taking exogenous medication. So blokes will take steroids to even get bigger to try and accelerate that. I think women just look at the blokes who are like roided off their heads, which is fine, that's their choice, and go, oh, don't want to get like that. Like that hasn't happened in like 5 minutes. Like he's not done a curl and just like ballooned up.
Oh, imagine how good that would be.
Oh, I wish. Yeah.
It was that. I've been trying to get inverted. So on podcast you won't see any of these. So like inverted commas. I've been trying to get too big for fucking years.
Yeah.
Like years. And it doesn't happen. I'm a big advocate for clean sport. So like I can't even take the good shit that's going to get me too big because I don't agree with it. But like the dudes you see in the gym are regimented. Like they train hard, consistently train hard, and like follow a real good program. Their diet and nutrition is on point. Like they didn't get there overnight, like you say. They've been in there for decades doing that shit. Yeah. So when Sandra off Facebook turns up and goes, "Oh, I don't want to get too big," so don't worry, mate. You won't. You absolutely won't. Like it's not going to happen. If you don't want it to happen, it fucking won't. It doesn't happen by accident. Yeah. You don't just wake up with an 8-pack and go, "Oh fuck, where did that come from?"
Yeah, like, oh my god, my shoulders are massive, like Popeye overnight. It genuinely takes like 8 years of like ridiculous regimented work where it's a priority above everything else. Like if you look at bodybuilders, like it is their life.
100%. It's mental. It is insane. I don't understand bodybuilding as a sport. I don't really understand how you win it's completely subjective, but that's a rant for another day.
Yeah.
But like, you have to respect the athletes that get on stage in that condition. Like, the grind they go through to get into that shape is disgusting.
Mm.
Like, horrendous. There's friends of mine, obviously I've been working in gyms for a long time, and there's friends of mine that do bodybuilding, they compete and that sort of thing. And you see them in comp prep, and they are fucking miserable. Like, they're cutting out water just to get a little bit leaner. They're cutting out carbs to get a little bit leaner. They're just, it's ruthless. You see them on stage, they're half dead, but fuck, they look good.
Yeah.
And then
But they're starving, they're freezing, they're miserable, like no libido, like all those sorts of things. Like, it doesn't happen just by chance. Like, it's, and like you said, fair play to them. I do respect people that can do that to themselves.
I can't.
Whether it's, obviously it's not physically healthy. If people, I think there are ways of psychologically looking after yourself around comp, particularly after comp, but that doesn't always happen. It's not always encouraged. So they're the issues I have with bodybuilding. But if it's done with an evidence base, done properly, and done with the health of the person in mind for as long as you can, so you can be healthy for as long as possible during the prep, and then as soon as possible after prep, then I have like absolute respect for that. But it becomes your life. Like, if someone said to you, "Oh, what day is it tomorrow?" You'd be like, "It's leg day," rather than Wednesday. Like, it's that point where it's everything. And like, just people on Instagram, you'll see videos of them out for a walk because they've not got enough steps that day, and it's like pissing it down in -7. And anyone else would look out and go, "I'm going back to bed. I'll do this tomorrow." Yeah.
It is insane. There's that kind of switch. I think there was an interview I watched recently with, it was either Eddie Hall or Martin Lissis, one of the two strongmen. And one of the guy doing the interview basically said, "What does it take? Like, who are these people? Like, these creatures that turn up year in, year out and just do shit and get better and stronger and bigger. What does it take?" And the guy said it takes 90% of what everyone else has got. That 10% is missing. There's something that didn't get added to that person, where it becomes completely obsessive. You have to be obsessed to get to that point. You have to be. It is, nothing else matters. Like, for me, I love training. I love lifting heavy things. I love being strong, but I don't love it more than spending time with my family or like coaching. That, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Whereas like the elite strongman, you've only got like, I mean, there's a bunch of interviews of Eddie Hall, as used as an example. When he won 2017 World's Strongest Man, he broke down on the podium afterwards and said, like, "You'll never see me here again. Never." He put in 3-4 years of full-time graft into winning that title, won it and went, "Fuck this, I'm done." Yeah. So now he does all the kind of comparing and whatever else have you, but he wanted to go and spend time with his family because he hadn't seen them for 3 or 4 years while he was full-time training for that title.
Yeah.
There's a little bit, it has to completely consume you. That's why breakups make monsters, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's the same in any endeavor. If you want to be the absolute best at something, it's the same with like business. If you look at some of the most successful CEOs, they're like they're unhinged. They're not the same as everyone else.
No.
And it's the same with any personality trait. There's no good or bad traits. They are only good for certain things. So what makes you completely like a ruthless, brilliant businessman might make you like an awful parent or partner or whatever. And it's the same with bodybuilders, in that what might make you awful for lots of other things in society will make you a great bodybuilder. Something I talk about a lot is like priorities, and people want to look like that, but it's like 6th or 7th down on your priority list. And you go, well, why? Like, you're not going to get there. And in the same way, people who acknowledge that it's further down their priority list than friends, family, life, great, but still try and diet down or train in the same way. And I just go, well, why are you trying to manage all these little things that don't matter to you? Because you can get to where you want to get without doing all those. And it's not your priority. So you're not going to be like eating fucking lettuce all the time and waking yourself up at 2 a.m. to have a shake and stuff like that. Like, you don't need to. Why are you trying to do that? That's why you fail, because you think you have to, but you don't. But yeah, it takes a massive amount of work. And anyone that looks at those people and goes, "Oh, it's easy for them, they have steroids," that's ridiculous. Yeah. Steroids don't just inflate a man. No. They don't just make you huge. Like,
unless it's synthol.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then that just makes you look silly. It never makes you look great.
Yeah, no.
Whenever you see those like stupid lad bible articles, bloke who wants to look like a bodybuilder, he just looks like the Michelin Man. He looks horrendous.
It looks smooth and shiny and weird. Yeah. It's just weird.
Exactly. But
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think you do have to think about what your priorities are. And yeah, and anyone who says it's steroids is just projecting on the fact that they don't want to work really, really hard like those people have to get there, which is fine. Like, you don't have to. I certainly don't want to, and I'm not afraid to admit that I don't train that hard. I don't eat that regimented, like anything like that. I don't do it because it's not that much of a priority.
Yeah.
Whereas someone might look at one of us and go, actually, oh my God, you work a lot, don't you? Like, you work 6-7 days a week, 12 hours a day. That's a lot.
Bags. That's the art rings. That's it. Yeah.
It's because you're actually only 22, but you look 40.
Yeah, correct.
But like, and again, for those people, it doesn't really feel like that. Like for me, I am working pretty much every day. I'm reading something every day, looking at journals every day, but it doesn't feel like work to me. Like, if I wasn't earning from it, would I still do that? Probably. And if you ask bodybuilders that, they'd do the same.
100%. Well, there was, I don't know if you've watched it, there's the Ronnie Coleman documentary on Netflix, which is harrowing, frankly. It's, they do the whole thing, like for those, like most people will know Ronnie Coleman. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably know Ronnie Coleman. If you don't, he was a fucking monster. He was a bodybuilder back in sort of early 2000s. And he was just coined as like one of the biggest, strongest bodybuilders on a stage. He was just slabs of meat, packed onto slabs of meat and everything else. He was enormous. And I think I'm right in saying he had a few powerlifting titles and that sort of stuff as well. He was a copper.
Yeah.
He was, like, he's dead. He's still alive. I think he still is a copper. Maybe not now, but he's probably retired now. But when he was competing, he was a police officer in the States somewhere. And like, imagine that thing running at you.
No.
You'd shit yourself. Like, yeah, I give up. You just lay on the floor and die. Just wait for death. But in the documentary, they sort of, they show him back when he was winning Olympia titles and that sort of thing, and training and lifting 100-kilo dumbbells for reps on incline bench and that sort of, just monster. And then they sort of see him now when he rolls up to the gym at sort of 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, so he can go in early and get his training done before everyone else turns up, so he's not in their way. And he's this shadow of a man. He walks with a crutch. He's
in the right state.
He's fucked. And, on the documentary, he's waiting for a spinal operation or something like that. But it's horrible, and you kind of see it. And they interview him and go, was it worth it? And he went, of course it was. Like, yeah, of course it was. I won so many Olympia titles. I'm fucking Ronnie Coleman. Yeah. And they interview somebody who he competed against, like Jay Cutler, for example. They interviewed him and said, like, if you were in the same way, would it be worth it? And he went, God, no. Of course it wouldn't be. Jay Cutler did his thing. He retired off and did his bits, and he's still in shape and he still does his bits and pieces. He goes, no, I wouldn't put myself into that state for that. Of course not. So that goes back to that whole, even within that elite thing, you had Jay Cutler, who in himself was immense, one of the elite. Even he still had that little bit in the back of his head that went, don't be a dick. Whereas Ronnie Coleman didn't have that. He went full in. He had that bit missing that meant he had to go absolutely in. So, again, we go back to that mentality of kind of being there. It's not everyone's there. Not everyone's willing to put the work in, which is, like you say, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
99.9% of people on the planet ain't willing to put the work in for that level, which is cool. But the people that are left, there's probably a good solid amount of those that are willing to put the effort in for their own health. And if you want to have a decent set of shoulders, you want to look good in a pair of shorts, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If that's enough to spur you on into the gym, so you train a little bit harder, you eat a little bit better, that sort of thing, then do you know what? That's what it takes. That's cool. Like, you've got that.
I think one of the things that frustrates me is when you see stuff on Instagram, it's like, oh, if you want abnormal results, you've got to do like abnormal things and all that sort of stuff. And loads of people share them, like, yeah, this is why I'm training today. Like, this is motivating me. And just look at them, and then if you ask them, what is it you want to achieve from this? Oh, I just want to look like him. I want to have a six-pack and like bigger arms. That's not abnormal results.
Not really. No, that's just losing a bit
of
body
fat. You don't need to put in abnormal amounts of work. Like, somewhere along the line, we've got to this point where we obsess over like ridiculous sacrifice and hard work. And if you want to achieve something and truly be one of the best, if you look at the best in any sport, or like Coleman's a great example, like Johnny Wilkinson's a great example, David Beckham, if you wanted to be the best at something, like Beckham's set pieces were brilliant, Wilkinson's kicking was unbelievable. Like, you have to put in hours and hours and hours and hours of work. But most people don't. Yet we still they'll still bastardize that and try and put in the hours of work for their goal that doesn't require hours of work.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, and the amount of people that will say to me, oh, I wasn't perfect this week. So I've got a few clients at the moment, and a lot of people are like this because lockdown is difficult. We've got lots of different things going on. And they'll look at their diet and go, well, I've still moved towards the calories are in check, proteins are all right, they're eating some fruit and veg. And they'll go, yeah, but I wasn't perfect this week. Yeah, but your situation isn't perfect. Like, you've got so much going on, like perfect and unreasonable demand from you.
Yeah.
And also, your goal does not require perfect; it requires good and slightly better. So why are you still chasing perfect and like feeling like an arsehole for not being perfect? You just don't need to be perfect.
I think that's a really interesting point in itself. I think that's the thing that's just bred into us as almost consumers, because we're in this whole thing where everything's got to be like spot on. You have to be right. You have to be this. You have to be this, and that's kind of bollocks. I think there's now a little bit of a movement coming around to say, it's all right to be subpar for a day, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're regimented to shit and you follow on like 2, 3, 4 weeks of being on it, you're tracking your food, you're getting on results that you want, your training's going well, you feel great, and then it's your mate's birthday and you all go out to TGI Fridays. Do you remember TGI's? Do you remember going out to restaurants? Oh, miss those days. In this instance then, it's your mate's birthday coming up and you all jump on a Zoom chat and you get a Chinese takeaway, because that's, current.
Mm-hmm.
You do that. But like, I don't know why you should feel guilty about having that Chinese takeaway at the TGI's. And this goes back to, I think we talked about this on an earlier episode about having a cheat meal. And like, the term cheat is another term that fucks us both off. Is just eat your food, man. You're all right.
Yeah.
But everyone gets that kind of pang of guilt for eating, inverted commas, bad food. Just fucking eat it. Do what you enjoy, man.
Something else we spoke about in terms of language is the word should. And like people tell themselves they should do all sorts of things. In my life, I really try and limit the amount of things I should do per day, to the point where it becomes ridiculously easy to do them. I tell myself I should shower, I should open my laptop and do some work that I want to do, and I should get outside and do some sort of physical activity. If it's a walk, if it's a run, I should try and get outside. Other than that, and I should get 8 hours sleep. Other than that, there's nothing I should do. There's stuff that I do quite often. It's like, same with food, same with anything. Having guidelines and like structures in place for you to do more things is absolutely great. As soon as you've got rules, you break rules, you tell yourself you should do this because that's the rule. You break the rule, you're fucked. Like, mentally, it just feels shit. If you've got a guideline where, like, I have a guideline of like a little morning routine that I try and do. I haven't hit it once in a couple of weeks, but having it there means that I do it more often than not, or I do more parts of it. So I'll get up, I'll do a little bit of a journal, I'll have a cold shower normally, which is grim. It does make me feel better though. They're quite interesting. Yeah.
Mate, I don't understand cold showers. Like, a cold shower feels better when you get out of it, right?
Yeah.
In the same token as if someone put you against the wall and punched you in the head for a bit and then stopped, do you feel better because they stopped punching you in the head?
That's true. I will admit that the pain of having a cold shower in the first place is less than someone punching me repeatedly in the head.
Yeah, this is true, yeah.
But I get your point. I do, to be fair, I used to do it just that, and I'd end up not being able to wash because it was too horrible. I'm now at a point where I'll wash first in a warm shower and then do 2 or 3 minutes at the end that's cold.
Oh, so you warm yourself up first?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't have you down as that. So what's the quiet ones?
Huh?
It's always the quiet ones, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm absolute filth, mate. Yeah, always the quiet ones. But yeah, and I'll do a few of those other things. I'll do some mobility, potentially like try and meditate, try and do like some sort of breath work. A lot of the times, and I'll read as well. And I don't always do all of those things, but having those guidelines there are useful for me. Try and do as many of these things as you can before you start work, before like 9 o'clock. And I do. I don't always do them, but if I had them as rules and go, you've got to do all this,
never do them.
I either do it all and feel shit, or I feel shit because I haven't done them all. So
yeah, it's interesting, like hearing people's different sort of routines and what they attach themselves to and stuff. My morning routine is nowhere near as thorough or disgusting as that in terms of cold showers.
Yeah,
my morning routine is that I sort of play on the fact that I shouldn't snooze as much as I do. My alarm goes off, invariably I hit the snooze button, and then on Apple, for whatever reason, my alarm on my phone goes for 9 minutes on a snooze. Feels like a really random number, and my OCD fucking hates it. Why don't you make it 10? But I'll snooze for 9 minutes and then get up, and that 9 minutes is my time to just wake up, scroll, see some bits and pieces, look at my diary for the day, just sort of come to, and then alarm goes off next time, and I'll get up. That's my thing. But then every now and again, you have a terrible night's sleep, as you do with a 6-month-old, and the alarm goes off and you snooze it 4 or 5 times before you wake up in a blind panic and you run out the door with a toothbrush in your mouth. It happens. Like, I don't think it's a thing you should feel guilty of. I've never once left the house after having a shitty morning's routine and thought, oh, dick, whole day's written off. That's it.
Yeah.
Might as well go back to bed now. Like, the world still spins. So if there's this little 5-minute lump or 20-minute lump or an hour lump of your day that you didn't quite go the way you planned, fucking write it off. Get on with the rest of it.
Exactly. And I think, obviously, having been a nutritionist for quite a while, done some of the lifestyle coaching that I've done in previous jobs and still do, like, if I tell people, and someone said to me, what's the perfect morning routine? Generally, it's the best one that's for you. There are a few things that I'd suggest are probably useful if they're going to like to set you up for a day. But who the fuck wants a 26-year-old who works for himself and has chosen that because he enjoys it and has all the time in the world to do what he wants and set his own day up? Like, you've got a kid, for example. Imagine if I was like, well, the thing with it, Charlie, to improve, you really need a morning routine.
Yeah.
You tell me to get in the fucking bin. You're right, I've got a 6-month-old. Like,
meditation.
yeah, like, who the fuck are you telling me to unplug from the world for 10 minutes when she's screaming down my ear because she's like not been fed and she's not on the attention for 2 minutes? Like,
it's quite hard to meditate with a screaming 6-month-old.
Exactly. Shit like that on Instagram winds me up. And I try and be as non-prescriptive and non-judgmental and like, you have to do this as possible, because you don't. You do what the fuck you want.
I think the thing is, like, what makes you feel good?
Yeah.
Like people ask, like, I get it as a coach, strength coach.
Yeah.
What numbers should I hit today? If there's an RPE on the program, like, what number should I hit for this? Like, what's the RPE? 7. We'll work 7 out of 10 hard. Like, it's completely subjective. That's quite a specific example, but it's along the same things. Like, I don't think everything has to be prescribed.
No.
It can be what do you feel on the day? You're allowed to be subjective.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that you turned up into the gym and you did your session, which is, that's a win in itself, especially if you've got everything else going on in your little world. You did all right.
Mm-hmm. It's weird, like, people pay me for advice and they're like, oh, what should I do? And most of the time it's like, oh, just do what the fuck you want. Like, it doesn't matter. And someone will say to me, I had an example of a check-in this week, and someone said, oh, how would I fit in a takeaway this week then? And I literally gave them like 5 different ways you could do it. So I was like, you could take 200 calories off each day and then just have like an extra couple of thousand for Saturday. You could eat less on the Friday morning, Friday evening, and then Saturday morning, and then have more on the Saturday night. You can have less the day after, or you can just eat pizza and crack on, and your progress will be a bit slower. You won't lose as much weight. Like, there are lots of different options. You choose, because in the end, it's down to you, and it doesn't really matter. I think one thing I've noticed with coach, particularly in nutrition, because you're generally working with someone for a short period of time, there's this, oh my God, I have to get you results in 12 weeks, and I have to get a testimonial off you, and I have to show that you've worked. And I don't really care about that. And if I got no business but helped someone mentally so that they went and got great results after they've worked with me, I'd rather that than someone got lean as fuck and I said, no, you can't have pizza because that will kick you out of a deficit. Yeah. Or you can do it, but you've got to starve yourself the rest of the week. That's not coaching, because you're not actually showing the person how to do it for the rest of the time when you're not with them. I'd rather show them, actually, you can do it this week and you won't lose any weight, and that's absolutely fine. Like, it doesn't have to be the relentless charge for progress. Yeah. Which isn't how you build a business or get loads of clients, but
I think it might be. Like, I think there's a lot to be said for this kind of, I feel like things have gone full circle where people just kind of went and did their shit anyway.
Yeah.
Then people invented bullshit, which people bought and said, if you don't have this, you'll never do that. And now people are getting savvy to the bullshit. So actually being told, listen, it really doesn't matter. Like, so long as you're fairly consistent in what you're doing, you'll get there. Like, you'll be all right. You kind of almost give people permission to take the pressure off. Yeah. And I think that's a massive thing. It's done me all right. Holds me in pretty good stead. Like, I make a point of not advocating bullshit. Like, if there's a thing that you like doing, you crack on. Like, fill your boots. Like, there's a whole nother topic to be had about foam rollers. But like, if you enjoy foam rolling because you think it makes you feel better, I want to go back to the punching you in the head analogy. Like, it makes you feel good. That's great. Do your foam rolling, you crack on. But I'm not going to waste time in your hour session by foam rolling because it doesn't do anything. So like, we're going to train. Like, we're going to get you moving under load and towards your goal. If either side of that hour you want to throw 15 minutes of foam rolling, you fill your boots, mate. Yeah. But like, there's things like that. I'm never going to say to anyone, don't do it. You're wrong. It's this. And, there's no point being that aggressive. If someone asks me, why don't you? I'll tell you. But like, I'm not going to force that down your neck. Yeah. So
I have the same. Sleep supplements.
Yeah.
Don't recommend any of them, because there's no real evidence base for most of them. Someone's like, I take this and it helps me sleep. Brilliant, you crack on and take that.
Excellent.
Why don't I? Well, this is why, because I actually don't think there's loads of evidence for them.
Nope.
Two very different things. But like, if that helps you sleep, it helps you sleep. If it's placebo or not, I don't care. And foam rolling the same.
Yeah, 100%. It's all herbal.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting
Herbal stuff all works. The woman in Holland and Barrett said.
Okay, awesome.
And they've got qualifications. So
yeah, man. I love Holland and Barrett. It's a fucking excellent shop. It's horrendous. I went in there a while back when high streets were open. I had to buy a new shaker because I left protein in mine, so that got thrown in the bin. But I had to buy a new shaker. The lady behind the counter was trying to sell me CBD honey.
All right.
Pass. Not for it. But like, I love that that's where they're going now. And she was trying to tell me all the health benefits of CBD honey. I'm all right.
Is the CBD added post B or pre B?
Oh my god!
Like,
stoned bees making honey.
Yeah.
Shit,
Like,
maybe that's what's in the smoke. Fuck! Maybe that's what's in the smoke when they get them out of the hive. Maybe that's it. It makes them a bit docile, doesn't it? Maybe it's weed.
Yeah, there's one of them just playing like a little bee guitar, singing "Imagine" by John Lennon. All around in a circle.
They'll sit around a campfire.
With some crisps because a couple of them got the munchies.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Love that. Oh, what an image. On that, I think we should probably finish on that. That's a great image to finish on.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Nice. So that was a good 45 minutes nattering. I like that.
Be calm like the bee. That is the
calm like the bee. That's going to go on the t-shirts along with the It Depends t-shirt when I eventually get my ass in gear and get those made up.
Be calm.
I'm going to get a little bee with bloodshot eyes and a guitar and a packet of Doritos next to it. I'm getting that done. I'm going to get that done.
Sounds like a Chinese proverb. Like, do not be angry like the shark. Be calm like the bee. And then just leave it at that.
I think bees just aren't that calm. They are hectic.
They're not.
Wasps are dickheads. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like bees are just busy, man. They're not calm. They're organised busy, but they are far from calm.
Yeah.
As busy as a bee. That's a phrase. It's an actual phrase. Busy bee.
That's true. But then there's the thing about like working hard like ants do. But apparently, in a pack of ants, the majority of them don't do any work and they're really lazy, and it's just the work of a few that carries the rest of the ants. That's something that I learned the other day.
What's the collective name for ants? I'm going to Google this. I really want it to be a pack.
It is, isn't it?
I don't know.
Tribe.
Oh. Hold on. Collective noun for ants.
A bastard of ants.
Army! Yes, it's a fucking army of ants.
Yeah,
of course it is. Oh, yes. I mean, I've just put this into Google. It's the first one that came up, but there's like, it does sort of the 4 things.
Yeah.
It's got like the little list of, and there's 133 more rows. There are 133 collective nouns for ants. There you go. But top one's army. Second one's bike. A bike of ants. There you go. Fact fans. On that note, I really think we should finish. So, as per usual, this is the bit where we talk about ourselves and what we're going to sell you. So if you're no interested in buying shit, disappear. If you want to work with us, here's what we do. So I'm Charlie. I'm a strength coach. I currently run online programming because lockdown and what have you. Do that via an app, your check-ins and that kind of goodness. So if you're sort of struggling along and you have access to kit, I can help you with your training and sort of getting towards a goal for when the gym's open again, that sort of thing. Also here for any of your training advice or needs. And like, advice is free. Just drop me a note and I'll gladly answer your questions. You'll find me on Instagram at Night Strength or at Redbeard Barbell Club. And then this handsome gentleman next to me is also Charlie. You were that side, you look the right way, but yeah. And here's what he does.
Yeah, I'm a nutritionist. I will work with you one-to-one if that is what you require. You could join my email list where I email people free advice twice a week, which apparently someone found useful once. And I'm currently doing quite a lot of corporate stuff and reaching out to businesses because the healthier you are, the better you perform at work. So if you're someone who owns a business or is in some sort of management role, drop me a message because I can help you there as well. And for something I found out the other day, for every £1 employers invest in their employees, they make £5 back through like productivity, less absence days, things like that. So I'm actually going to make you money. So literally drop me a message if you want to print some money off.
Nice.
But yeah, you find me cbnutrition_ on Instagram.
Nice. The gift that keeps on giving.
I am. Yeah.
For every pound we make a $5. I wonder where they got that from. I want to know. I want to dig into that a little bit more.
It was like a government commissioned report on like absenteeism, presenteeism, productivity, all those sorts of things.
All those isms.
Yeah, basically the cost of either not going to work or being shit when you get there because of your health.
It's really interesting. I like that.
Huh, also, if you're watching on YouTube, the light is just coming through the room. Like some sort of business angel. So,
all of a sudden, kind of went, I can make you money, and then the light just lit you up.
The Lord has said.
Yeah, the Lord has said. Speak to Charlie Beeston for all your nutrition needs in your corporate world.
Yeah.
What I can do is turn my ring light up because influencer. Hold on. Oh no, I can't. It's on its brightest. Nah, can't do that. Mine's just dull.
Yeah, you won't be the Lord.
Like, my window's behind me, and it's a bit crappy here at the minute, so it's quite grey out. Hence the ring light. Otherwise, it looks like a silhouette, and that's no good for anybody. No. I might find somewhere else to do the call next week. So on YouTube, you can see. I don't know. I'm just going to go and stand outside and face the sun.
Yeah. So both of you on YouTube, look out for that.
Yeah, all two of you. Awesome. Right. On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much, sir, and I will catch up again next week.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Ta-ra!